Famcast Media, bitch.
Good evening, demons and demonesses, or morning. It's like a little bit after midnight right now. Just chilling out. Finally got off of work. It's a pretty relaxing and easy day today, so got some time to record, so I might as well do something, you know? Well, not too long ago, I had just, was tagged in this post. And this was sent to me, a couple times too. This was sent to me by Honeybee Sinclair. She sends me a lot of good stuff, you know, been a great friend of the show. Always providing me with, you know, good quality content. Well, this one is going to be pretty juicy and also might make your heads explode, might lose a few brain cells, you know, trying to watch this thing. And because of that, I had to make sure that I prepared myself with enough edibles and beverages. Right here, because if I have to watch this shit, then you know what, I might as well watch it with you guys too. Alright, so what I'm sipping on tonight is O'Fallon's Naughty Pretzel Beer. This stuff is actually pretty good. So I only took like 2 sips of this stuff already, so I didn't take way too much. But either way, this video is about an episode of Dr. Phil. Now, basically, he had a woman on his show, a woman which I had mentioned one of my previous videos. Her name is Angela Stanton King, who may or may not be, you know, related to Dr. Martin Luther King, or the people she claims she is. Which is absolutely sad, you know, the fact that, you know, she's taking that man's great legacy, you know, for what? Just to sell out. But either way, not really a hear about that. This is more about her family life. And apparently, I didn't even know this. Apparently, her daughter is transgender. So I'm like, all right, well, you got the most homophobic person on the fucking planet, and they have a transgender daughter. So I'm just gonna stop rambling. Like I said, if I have to watch this, then you gotta watch this too. So thank you, Honeybee Sinclair, for sending this to me. I'm gonna put your name down at the bottom so that people can follow you. So, without further ado, I guess it's time for us to get started.
Javian lives his life as a female. Javian goes by JB's online. I wrote his name down on the birth certificate. His name is Javian.
So this is how it starts off. You know, basically she's addressing her daughter as, you know, her son, because for some reason she doesn't want to accept the fact that, you know, her child is transgender. So she's like, oh, I've been calling it Javian for my entire life, so the name is Javian. You know, but I'm just continue playing this shit.
I told him not to come around me dressed as a woman.
I had a collection of Barbie dolls, and my mom found them up under my bed, and she threw them all away.
Also, I just want to add, I mean, her daughter is just absolutely beautiful. And, you know, I honestly don't understand this. I think this might be a little bit of a jealousy thing. I mean, look at Angela Stanton King, and then fucking look at her transgender daughter. Like, her daughter looks like miles prettier than her. And, you know, and that's the thing. Everyone's like, oh, well, she's older. Well, my thing is this. We've all heard the saying, black doesn't crack. Well, Angela Stanton King is beyond crack. She's fucking shattered.
One of the biggest things that I have an issue with is him being kind of provocative.
All right, so I might just start a game. Take a drink every time Angela Stanton King calls this woman a him, or uses he/him pronouns, or a boy, or uses her dead name. Matter of fact, if I do that, then I would have to maybe drink a whole 6-pack by the time I'm done. So I'm gonna just try and take a micro sip. All right, time to get going.
I've seen him twerking. I've seen some videos that I thought were very unbecoming. I feel as though he doesn't have to stoop that low in order to get attention online. This new persona that he has just gives off sassy, ratchet, angry black woman, and I'm just not digging it.
Well, to be honest, that's these videos, in my honest opinion, the twerking videos and stuff, that's rather tame. Like, that's pretty much what everybody on the fucking internet is doing. Like, twerking videos, TikTok videos, that's like pretty much like half the shit that you see on fucking TikTok, half the shit that you see on Facebook or YouTube or any of these other fucking social media sites that the kids are using nowadays. In fact, I mean, if you think this is bad, you should just wait until Angela Stanton King sees half the shit that I've done with OnlyFans girls. You know, there's been quite a few times when, you know, women would ask me to, you know, help film content with them for OnlyFans. I guarantee you, if she saw half the shit that I was doing on the fucking internet, like I said, she wouldn't even be paying much attention to her daughter.
I've seen videos of him just acting like a stripper.
Alright, so you're saying it because they're acting... So you're saying because your daughter is acting quote-unquote like a stripper and that she's better than that. Look in yourself at the fucking mirror. Like, what the fuck are you? You're like a failed Republican candidate who absolutely stands for nothing. And also another thing I want to add. This isn't mentioned in this episode, but Angela Stanton King, before she was talking about, oh, well, ghetto and ratchet and shit like that. Angela Stanton King is a convicted felon. She, like, spent time in jail for, like, I think it was like she was running a chop shop and she was doing, like, auto theft and shit like that. And you can go look this up. I mean, matter of fact, I might just pull it up and put in the video, her criminal record. And she was bragging about this on Twitter, saying, oh, I can't believe people won't accept me for being a convicted felon, but they're willing to accept my daughter for being transgender or some shit like that. And apparently she starts beef with Lil Nas X and pretty much every other LGBTQ celebrity that happens to be black. She's just absolutely fucking pissed. I think she's doing this shit for attention, but either way, I'm gonna finish this.
We have physically fought. We've had a lot of verbal altercations. It can get really heated because Javian can get really disrespectful. I've said some things to him that I regret, like you should have been aborted. I have said to him, don't catch AIDS and die.
You should have been aborted. Oh, this is absolutely fun. This just goes to show you how much, you know, disgustingly ignorant and disgustingly hypocritical that conservative Christians are. All right, now, if you follow Angela Stanton King's record, Angela Stanton King is a pro-life Republican candidate. Please tell me what makes sense of all this. She's a pro-life Republican candidate, and she's willing to look her own daughter in the eye and say, I wish I should have aborted you. Unfucking believable. Like, way to be a fucking hypocrite. And it's like this with all sorts of Republicans. You know, a Republican might cheat on his wife or some shit like that. And when the mistress gets pregnant, they say, oh, just get an abortion. It's like fucking a lot of these, you know, Republican politicians and anti-abortion activists saying, oh, abortion is wrong. Abortion is wrong. But as soon as they get pregnant, oh, I got an abortion. Or you look into their past, they had abortions. So what, you want to burn the bridge right after you fucking cross it? Fucking ignorant people.
He tried to make it seem as if I said catch AIDS and die. That's not the case. I'm telling him, do not catch AIDS and die.
All right, well, I think that's pretty much obvious. Like, everybody knows how to use protection. All right, they teach you that shit in fucking school. And what makes you think that because that your daughter is transgender, that she's going to, you know, catch this infection and possibly die? Or I'm pretty sure your daughter's a lot smarter than you are. I'm pretty sure your daughter isn't going to, you know, do something, you know, risky like that.
I actually told him to move out because Javian has had an issue when it comes to schooling. Just about every school that he has been to, he's been expelled from for behavior issues. So we were on our last straw.
All right, well, I'm going to need some more context to that. All right, now, to be honest with you, like I said, I haven't really gotten to the part where they interview, you know, the daughter yet. But from what I understand, like, if these were like crazy conservative Christian private schools, then I wouldn't blame them for her for getting expelled. You know, those schools are run by a fucking nut jobs anyway. Like, I mean, we've all read the stories, especially like my earlier days of Satanic Panic, where a school had expelled a student simply because they had rainbows painted on their birthday cake. Now, there was literally no proof that this girl was part of the LGBTQ community. She just liked rainbows. And they said, oh, well, rainbows are a sign of LGBTQ rights and LGBTQ equality, so we're going to expel them. And then they want to have the nerve to say, oh, well, they did several, you know, behavioral issues, and we expelled them for this and that and the other. They just fucking liars, you know. That's the thing about, you know, Christian. They always say, oh, isn't that like one of the 10 commandments? Thou shalt not lie or bear false witness or some shit like that. And this is what they're doing.
If Javian decided to have a sex change and present himself as a woman, I will always, until the day I die, recognize Javian as my son. So I'm hoping old Doc got the answer, because I don't have it, but I'm searching for it.
All right, so let's see if Dr. Phil can change this person's mind. Like I said, I know there's like lots of controversy with Dr. Phil, but, you know, when it comes to LGBTQ equality and things like that, Dr. Phil has always been, you know, I guess you could say pretty much supportive. So after listening to this woman speak, I'm going to have to take another drink, so.
What is your concern?
I'm very concerned that with his behavior and him identifying with as a woman, that it could lead to dismemberment.
Your child was born with male genitalia, and so you say that's the definition, and that's not going to change. And so all of this other that is being experienced is just a mental illness or a delusion or a distortion, or what is it? What do you think?
I just recently got my bachelor's in psychology.
This woman is literally claiming that she got her bachelor's degree in psychology. Like what fucking university did you go to? Like, where the hell did she get this woman? Where the hell did this woman get her bachelor's degree from? You got it from McDonald's with your Happy Meal? You got it out of a fucking box of Lucky Charms, like a box of cereal or something like that? You got it from fucking Bob Jones University? Like, what the fuck? I want to hear her response to this. I definitely got to hear this.
And I have been taught that it's gender dysphoria. I do believe that it may be a form of mental illness.
It's been removed as a mental illness as of, I think, what was it? It was like 2016, 2017, 28. I don't even fucking know. It happened. The World Health Organization removed it as a mental illness. And why? Because there is no evidence that these people are mentally ill. It's nothing wrong with them if they have gender dysphoria. The only way to treat gender dysphoria is for a trans person to transition. What part of this don't you fucking understand?
It's not just that he was born male. I mean, he is a male. He was born with male parts. He is a male.
All right, well, you're talking about biology and all that other shit, like the fucking biological sex has absolutely nothing to do with gender identity, you fucking idiot.
And I'm just not going to feed into the delusion that a man is a woman.
Oh, there we go with that word again, delusion. I swear, black people just love to use that fucking word. Oh, well, you don't believe in what I believe in, or I'm too ignorant to understand the science, so therefore you must be delusional.
You know, Cleveland Clinic did a study on transgender brains, and when they did the study, they found that the brain of transgender people.
Look at her ugly fucking face. I swear, this woman is just one ugly fucking bitch.
Their brain is actually more similar to the gender they identify with than the gender that they were assigned at birth. I mean, it's an actual brain difference.
Okay, but I don't think, and I think that that's a mental health issue.
This woman literally is not making any fucking sense. So what Dr. Phil is talking about is a study that was done by, I think it was both by the University of Madrid and I think the University of Barcelona, where basically they took MRI scans of trans people's brains and they compared them to, the brain structure of a cisgender person. And basically the study concluded that a transgender person literally has a similar brain structure to that of a cisgender woman than to that of a cisgender man. Now, look, like I said, I'm glad Dr. Phil brought this up because this is a study that I've pretty much brought up to every transphobic person. And I just said, hey, here's the study. I'll have a link to it. If you read it, it's like almost 90 fucking pages long. Most people don't even fucking read it. They don't. They just, like I said, it's a lot easier for these people. They just want an excuse to be fucking transphobic. Denying the science, not just denying the science, but refusing to even look at it. Unbelievable.
I think that that's a mental health issue. I could
No,
say
that's
that,
a neurological fact.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. It's fucking neurological. It's not some fucking, mental illness, blah, 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 blah. But you know how conservatives are. They don't really believe in science anyway.
Okay, and I could say that I identify as a rich white woman right here on your stage, and I'm not white. So identifying as something is totally different, right, from what's actually factual.
There we go. It's another modified argument. Like, this is something you hear all the time where people say, oh, I identify as an attack helicopter. This is just a really old, played-out joke, and it's not even fucking funny anymore. And would you believe we're only 3 minutes in this shit? And we have 27 more minutes to go. I might just skip around. It's like, this is absolutely fucking stupid.
I think that this is something that's just being pushed as an agenda.
There are 50 years of empirical evidence here, and there are distinct differences in the transgender brain versus the non-transgender brain. So are you asking him to ignore that, to ignore his brain? And
all right, now I kind of disagree with, Dr. Phil using male pronouns to describe her daughter, but I can kind of understand why he's doing it. I think he's just speaking her language to try and, relate to her. This must be some sort of, psychological trick or something like that. But then again, I don't know. I seriously doubt Dr. Phil is trying to do this maliciously. I think he's, like I said, just trying to speak in her terms, but I'm gonna just let this play.
There are only two bodies. You've got a male body or you have a female body. You have male genitalia or you have female genitalia.
That's not exactly true. I mean, intersex people do exist, right? I mean, you do realize that, right? There are people out there that are born that have indistinguishable, organs. Some people might possess both a penis and a vagina. Some people might possess something that might look like either or might be 70-30 or some shit like that. And then you have people that might be born with two sets. So, like I said, there's this whole thing, there's only just male and female, and you just want to throw intersex and non-binary people out the fucking window. Like, get fucking real. Pull your head out of your fucking ass, Angela.
There is no one on this earth that is going to be able to convince me that my son is a woman. It's just impossible. All
right, so basically she goes on for the next 2 minutes, just word salad, just gibberish, talking about, oh, well, I don't believe any of the science says. I don't believe what Dr. Phil says. I don't believe what any of these medical professionals say. My son is not a woman. For some reason, I kind of knew she was going to say some shit like this. Like I said, this is the reality that a lot of black folks in the United States have to go through. We have to deal with this type of ignorance. All right, now, some people, it's not as bad. Some people, it's like, oh, well, they just dead. You have parents that will just dead name them. You have parents that will, take it to the extreme and, totally disown them or, use violent tactics against them. And then you have people like Angela Stanton King, which I would say is kind of borderline extreme.
Technically identify under the queer or questioning. The Q can kind of go both ways. As long as I can remember, I've always been called like gay or like queer or like a or stuff like that. I didn't want to play sports. I wanted to play with Barbies. I like long hair. I like pretty lashes. I like things that come in pink. I just like pretty things.
You know, like I mentioned earlier, you know, her daughter is absolutely beautiful. All right, and that's the thing. You know, I kind of feel sorry for her having to deal with such, you know, a terrible parent. Now, I want to know more about what's going on. So,
I think my mother is a huge bigot. If it's not Angela's way, it's just completely wrong. Angela pushes her conservative agenda down everybody's throat. She wants to choke people on her beliefs. If you're not agreeing with what she agrees with, then your opinion doesn't matter.
Well, I totally didn't see that coming. There we go. Her with the 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump himself. Yeah, she, like I said, she's a failed candidate. She hasn't really quite won any election or anything like that. Never held office. At least I don't think she has.
My mom has called me the worst of the worst. You're going to hell. You're gonna die of AIDS. She can be extremely intolerant to other people's opinions and how they feel. And even on her social media, she's showcased her bigoted ways very clearly.
Don't want your heads to explode, or if you guys don't want to, you know, lose any more brain cells than you probably already watched by, you know, watching the first 6 minutes of this video. Like I said, we're only 6 minutes in. Like I said, so much ignorance in just that short amount of time. Please, for the love of God, don't follow Angela Stanton King on Twitter. I mean, but that's at your own risk. She posts a lot of stupid shit, and she's a really dumb fucking person. So, like I said, if you can deal with, you know, ignorant ass fucking tweets, then, you know, have at it, horse. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't mind trolling the hell out of this woman. And that's pretty much what the majority of the people that are commenting or, you know, retweeting her tweets are doing. They're just trolling the hell out of her. Now, unfortunately, none of us have, like, are probably going to change your mind. But, you know, it is kind of fun just seeing, you know, the right-wing conservatives have their heads explode because, you know, I'm posting, you know, pictures of Satan and all that other shit and Baphomet and stuff. So, either way, makes my day.
I actually have turned me being a live streamer into a very lucrative 6-figure career. I'm pretty sure Angela probably is ashamed of me, but I don't care. I'm ashamed of a lot of the things she does as well. We're probably an embarrassment to each other.
Let me tell you something, all right? If my daughter was doing exactly what this woman is doing, you know what? I wouldn't really feel ashamed. I would feel, you know, proud of them. You know, you're an adult, you're allowed to do whatever the fuck you want with your own body. In fact, I would much rather have a daughter who's a stripper than, you know, a daughter who's fucking transphobic. All right? I don't care if you're some sort of religious fuckhead or anything like that. I would rather have a daughter who's a sex worker, who probably smokes weed and is enough to like makes money, makes her own money, is able to support themselves, than have a bigoted ass religiously conservative daughter. All right, and that's, I don't know how old Angela Stanton King is. She's probably got to be in her like 40s or 50s or something like that. Who knows at this point? All right, I think she's jealous because her daughter was able to accomplish more in a shorter period of time than Angela Stanton King has in her entire fucking life.
Well, some of the tweets that you've posted, you said, if you want a little boy to look like a woman, you might just be a pedophile and don't know it.
Here we go. This is like textbook definition. This is like goes right off of the, you know, the homophobic, transphobic playbook. As soon as somebody starts talking about, you know, gay rights or trans rights, the first thing that a transphobic or a homophobic person will do is they play the pedophile card.
It's because there's a trending thing online that says boys can be princesses too. And in this thing, you see little boys dressed up as grown women. They've got on gowns, they got on heels, they got on lipstick. Me, I'm a survivor of sexual abuse. Anytime I've ever put on a gown and high heels and lipstick, it's because I was trying to be sexy or have some sort of sex appeal. It's something that women do. So to suggest that a little boy, and it clearly says little boy, 5, 6, or 7 years old should be walking around dressed up like a grown woman. And if you look at it and like it, you might just be a pedophile and don't know it.
Okay, well, that seems to be, I swear, that's an insane reach. That's like a bigger reach than fucking Michael Jordan did when he did that slam dunk in Space Jam. It's like a bigger reach than fucking Monkey D. Luffy with his fucking gum rubber arms. Like, I don't understand how you could say, somebody wearing a dress means that, they're trying to look sexy or that it's sex appeal. I mean, you're a grown fucking woman. Like, no one looks at a child like that except, someone that, is sick in the head. But a normal person would be like, all right, well, it's just a little boy or a little girl in a fucking dress. Like, who the fuck cares? And, I've seen it several times before. I was at, like, a fucking march, I think. What was it? Like, last year. Last year, there was a Black Lives Matter march. And you did have, I did see people wearing dresses. I don't know if these were like men or women or if they were non-binary or whatever. But I saw people wearing dresses, and I'm like, you know what? My thing wasn't, oh my gosh, they're wearing a dress. I'm like, all right, well, they probably wear the dress because the dress looks fucking good. Maybe they like wearing fucking dresses. You can't expect people to, just wear a pair of trousers or a pair of overalls all fucking day. What if they don't like that? It's their fucking body. They're allowed to put on their body whatever the fuck they want to wear on their body.
LGBTQIA defines adults by their sexual preference. Now they're trying to convince us that it's okay to look and define children the same way. You a lie. I refuse to look at a child and tie them to a sexual preference or desire.
Exactly. Each one of those letters represents a sexuality. We should not be sexualizing children.
Transgender is not a sexuality. It's a gender identity. All right. Like I said, this is how conservative Christians are. They don't understand the difference. They don't understand the difference between gender, sex, and sexual orientation, which are all three different things. And neither of them, just because you're part of one gender does not mean that that gender means you're going to be part of this certain sexual orientation. Just because someone is a girl does not mean that they're going to be attracted to men. All right? You have women that are attracted to other women. You have, trans people that are attracted to other trans people. You have fucking cis people that are attracted to trans people. It's a combination that can go either or. There is no right or wrong to it. And no one is sexualizing children. You're the one that brought sex into it. All right? If a child, that's the thing. Most people know at a young age what they're attracted to. I knew since I was in fucking preschool that I liked women. All right? So you're saying that I was being sexualized. I fucking knew it. I always knew it. It was never like something that I had ever questioned. I remember the first time, my parents would take me to like the fucking diner, and I would always, smile and wave at the waitresses and shit like that. Fucking believable. And that's the thing about these conservatives. They claim they're all holy and this and that and the other, but you look at something innocent like this, and you're trying to say, oh well, it's sexualizing. No, the fuck it isn't.
I don't want to lose my son.
Do you think your child has the right to self-define, to have a mind not controlled by mother?
He absolutely has a right to do that, but he also has a right to respect me as his parent. And it's not about hate, it's love.
Here we go with another thing out of the right-wing playbook. Oh, it's not hate, it's love. Look at the way look at her face right now. Look at your daughter's face. Does she look like she's being loved? Does she fucking look like she... if this is what love is, to be honest, forget about you disowning her. She ought to disown you. And then you wonder why, so many of my friends in the LGBT community will call, a random stranger, someone that they have no connection to, mom or dad. I've seen it happen several times. I had a friend of mine out of fucking Minnesota who was, she was disowned by her parents. So basically what happened is that after she went to university, she met like this gay couple, and they're like really good friends of hers. It's like an elderly gay couple, and she refers to them as her parents. She refers to them as, oh, this is my father and this is my other father. You know, it's absolutely sad that you can't get love from your real parents, so you have to fucking create a family of your own, which does sound kind of fun, but still in all, you still never lose that connection deep down in your mind that, oh my gosh, my parents, my biological parents disowned me. My biological parents never wanted me. My biological parents never loved me. Who knows what type of psychological damage that will cause?
I just don't have to accept my son as a woman.
It is hate. I think
You
it's hate.
believe it's hate because
It's
I'm not
hate.
doing what you want me to do.
It's not about you doing what. It's not about at all about you doing what I want you to do.
Have I told you that I hated you?
It's about, you might as well have.
Okay.
You might not be saying that you hate it, but it's your actions prove that you do. Your tweets prove that you do. The stuff that you do to the LGBT community, whether it be gay people or trans people, prove that you do hate these people. If you love them so much, then just let them live their fucking lives and leave them the fuck alone.
So let's take the whole dressing as a woman thing out of it. Let's say that I was sitting across from you, the perfect son you could have imagined. Some of the things you have said to me are hateful.
You're living a
and she
promiscuous
said to you, I hope
lifestyle.
you burn in hell.
Yeah.
When I said that?
She said you're gonna burn in hell.
When did I say that?
Several times. I
That's a
have the
lie.
text messages.
Please show the text message. I've never said that.
Has she said you'll end up dead just like your father?
She did say that.
That's not what I said, B.
Dead like the father. Interesting. Could that be why this woman is acting the way she is?
My dad was brutally murdered. If we're gonna talk about it, let's go ahead and talk about it. My dad was brutally murdered. He was shot in the head. When he got shot in the head, he hit the pedal on the gas. The car crashed. My dad burned alive in a car. 2 days after this, my mother was on social media. A person of some famous stature had tweeted some condolences about my dad. Angela then goes on her Instagram. We good. We don't need your condolences.
This woman is just a very sick and heartless and disgusting person. Or you have someone that's, mourning the death of your husband, and you're saying, oh, well, we don't need your fuck. Like, how could you be so fucking cold and fucking heartless? Angela Stanton King is a disgusting, vile creature. I don't even know if I can call this woman a fucking human being. And she has, no fucking remorse. How fucking dare you? What the fuck is wrong with you? I don't know if I'm a little bit too drunk or if, maybe I need to drink some more. Because, this woman is just really fucking getting on my nerves. I was going to say maybe this woman is miserable because she's not getting a dick appointment every now and then. She doesn't have a man to give her the fucking pipe. But you know what? Apparently, maybe she was crazy while she was with this lad. As a matter of fact, come to think of it, I might get a lot of hate for saying this, but maybe your husband's death was the best thing that could ever happen to your husband, because maybe now that your husband is dead, he can get away from a crazy, stupid, fucking bitch like you. Like I said, I shouldn't really be saying some shit like that because, now the kids are without a father and, I'm pretty sure that they love their father. Based on the way that the daughter is talking, she clearly did love her father. She does feel sad about what happened. Maybe I did go overboard by saying some shit like that. And I apologize, but either way, like I said, this woman is just a fucking ignorant, sick bitch.
I'll never accept him acting as a woman because he's not a woman. I don't have to live in that delusion.
You understand.
What makes you a woman?
Because I want to be one.
So I want to be a billionaire. I want to be his wife.
Work to be
Can I be your wife?
Got one. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Good response from Dr. Phil on that one. And also another thing, and this goes to both Angela Stanton King and anyone else out there. A trans person does not have to explain a goddamn thing to you. They don't have to explain why they feel the way that they feel. A trans person does not need you or anyone else to verify why they feel the way that they feel. All right? That's completely personal. That's up to them if they want to share that information with you. But it's none of your fucking business.
Tell me how you're a woman.
I don't need to. I don't
Right.
need validation from you or
Right.
anybody else. You can't name one time I've ever asked you to call me a woman.
You can't, because you know I'm not.
But I didn't ask you to.
Okay, don't.
You know why? Because I don't need that validation from
Great.
you as a human being.
Great.
Angela is gaslighting to her conservative people who agree with her, and she's gaslighting and she's trying to make it seem as if, oh my God, I just want Javian to respect himself, and I don't want Javian to do this, and you know, him dressing like a girl. And you're making about this whole sexuality thing, which it is not.
It is for me.
Okay, that's what it's about.
Okay. He's the one that actually wants to encourage his LGBTQPIA plus base.
We don't need your
have it.
approval.
No, it's about
We don't
you.
want it.
It's not
I don't
them.
want your approval.
You'll never have it.
I don't need it.
You won't get it.
I don't need it.
You won't get
I'm
it, sir.
a full, complete
You won't
human
get
being.
it, sir.
This woman is doing this on purpose. Now you're calling them a sir. Sir. She's doing this shit on purpose. We all know what the fuck she's doing.
One mother. You can't speak for them.
Even look at Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil's like, this bitch is fucking crazy. This is the most ignorant mother I've ever had on my fucking stage in my entire fucking career. I mean, just look at it. Seriously, look at his face. He doesn't look like, oh, I think I can help these people. No, he looks like he's really fucking annoyed.
I would rather be motherless 10 times over than deal with a toxic parent. I would rather have my father be in the grave. I would rather have my father be in the grave, and I would rather not have a relationship
y'all know.
with you.
Well, too
Hold
bad.
on.
Be
Stop
Too bad.
talking.
Oh,
Wow. Strong words coming out of the daughter. I would rather have my father being in the fucking grave. And she's at the point where she is like on the verge of disowning her mother. And like I said, this is the reality that, you know, a lot of LGBTQ people have to go through, especially if they have, you know, bigoted parents. You know, you don't know how sad it is, you know, reading people's stories on Twitter and, you know, updates about how they're trying to, you know, reconnect with a homophobic parent or a transphobic parent, and the parent, after 10 plus years, won't accept them. They can have kids, and, you know, the homophobic or the transphobic parents refuse to see their grandkids because they don't like the fact that one of their son or daughter happens to be gay or transgender or something like that, you know. And also another thing, I'm glad Dr. Phil told him to stop talking, because this bitch won't stop fucking interrupting. Your daughter's trying to speak, and you're saying, blah, 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 blah. Like, the fuck? And like, you always, that's the thing she said in the beginning of the video. She's like, oh, my daughter's, you know, portraying this angry, ratchet black woman. Listen to yourself, Angela. You're an angry, ratchet black woman. That's exactly what the fuck you are. And you're just projecting that shit onto your daughter. Your daughter is being professional. She came up here professional. She's articulate. She knows how to fucking speak. And all you're doing is just going on Dr. Phil, spitting gibberish. Like, sir, ma'am, he, him, pronouns, this, that, and the other. Shut the fuck up, Angela.
There's a very serious study by the Cleveland Clinic that has done MRI scans on transgender persons that has determined that the brain of a transgender person is much more similar in function and profile if you are a transgender woman, that your brain is much more aligned functionally with a straight female.
So Dr. Phil is now saying that this was done by the Cleveland Clinic. I had no idea that this study was done multiple times. I thought it was just, you know, the University of Madrid and the University of Barcelona. So apparently there's quite a few studies out there, and apparently Angela Stanton King is such a fucking dumbass, she's willing to reject all of them without actually looking at them.
Right.
Than it is
But
with
if
a
you don't
male.
mind me saying something really quickly on behalf of my community,
Why you feel like you gotta speak for your,
I don't need you to
speak
interrupt
for
me.
yourself. I'm not.
Here's this bitch goes interrupting. It's not your turn to speak. Shut the fuck up.
I'm speaking for myself.
You hear what your
and my
mom
community.
trying to work out.
Because when I hear an ignorant bigot, I feel the need to speak for myself and my community.
And you're only a bigot when you don't agree that a man can't become a woman.
I wish that there was a way for, the production staff to mute this woman's microphone. Because, like I said, she's not saying anything that means anything.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm a bigot and you're
Go
mentally
ahead.
ill,
Okay,
son.
let her-
You are
let-
mentally
come on.
ill, son.
Allow-
You are mentally ill,
I'm
son.
rich.
And
You and I are
I'm
having
doing
a
great.
conversation.
Why you sitting up here with tissue in your bra?
I don't have tissue in my bra.
You don't have tissue in your bra.
No, I don't. You want to look at it?
You're
and
right.
see?
Okay,
Tissue in your bra. You do realize that the hormones make trans people grow breasts. You do realize that, Angela, do you? I don't know what size bra Angela is. She probably hell, if those are her real titties, then they probably are some. Let me shut up.
go ahead.
Angela, for me, is a brick wall. Like, if you don't agree with what she agrees with, it's very hard getting through. I've been trying to do this for 13 years. Imagine what you can do in 40 minutes. And this is all respect to you. I feel like in order for you to help people, people have to want to be helped. So just speaking for myself, it's a lot less about the science of who I am and as far as my DNA, who I am. You don't have to like me or agree what I do, but as a human being, respect is all it really calls for. You don't have to think I'm a woman. That's cool. That's fine.
All right, now this is another thing about appearance and stuff that, I shouldn't really be talking about. But look at her daughter. Look at how nicely laid her edges are, right on top of her head. And then you have Angela, like her edges are all fucked up. And this is like one of the consequences of being a homophobic or a transphobic bigot. Is that it really fucks up your appearance. I mean, we saw it with the activist mommy too. Like, she's so fucking homophobic, she can't even get like the gay makeup artist, do her makeup correctly. I mean, she looks like the Jedi exile in Knights of the Old Republic if you side with the dark side. And Angela kind of looks the same way. Like, what is it with all these crazy conservative women or Karens? That's exactly what the fuck these women are. They're fucking Karens. What is it with all these Karens looking like fucking... They're drunk off of dark side energy. Like, you got the dark eyelashes, the permanent scowl on their fucking face. Like there's some fucking Sith Lord or some shit.
You can think I'm mentally ill. That's cool. That's fine.
I know you're mentally ill.
What I was telling
So
you
again,
is that I was explaining to her that this is not a mental illness, that there's actually differences within the body for someone that feels the way you do. It's not just in your mind.
But regardless...
Now she's interrupting Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil is like trying to explain the science, and she's like, hey, mental illness, blah, 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 blah. I'm an ignorant fucking piece of shit. I'm gonna join the Waterhead Club.
I've been attacked from my social media. I've been attacked.
And this is her Congress ad. Like, what the fuck? Like, this was a total epic failure. Yeah, I mean, pretty much Angela Stanton King's, her entire career, I should say, her entire fucking life is an epic failure. Her run for Congress failed. She's a failure as a mother, a failure as a woman, a failure as a fucking parent in general, a failure as a fucking wife. Like, how much failure do you have to be? I know for a fact that there's probably drug addicts and heroin addicts out there that are more successful than Angela Stanton King. Fucking heroin addicts.
Been attacked for being, a black Republican. I've been attacked for supporting the president that I choose to support. I thought that was all about American freedom.
All right, I'm gonna stop right there, all right? Just because you're a black Republican and just because you support Donald Trump does not excuse you being a fucking bigot. All right, now, this might sound weird to a lot of people, but I know a lot of Trump supporters. A lot of them. Both here in New Jersey and abroad. All right, I've spoken to them. I've listened to some of their podcasts. I've actually, went to rallies and, been, literally just actually talked to them. not all of them are bigoted fucks. I've even met transgender Trump supporters. Not all of them are bigoted fucks. I know a transgender Trump supporter that I met like in fucking 2016, and we're still pretty much friends now. All right, she has a fucking son. Like we used to smoke weed together. All right, just because you're a conservative and that you support Donald Trump does not mean that you have to be a fucking bigot. There is no correlation between being a Republican and being a bigot. All right, that's a choice that you fucking made. You can still be conservative and still be nice to gay people or trans people in this situation. This is just a choice that you're making. And that's the thing. These people have the nerve to say, "Oh, well, homosexuality is a choice, and transgender people and all that LGBTQ stuff is a choice." But aren't you choosing to treat them like shit? Isn't that what you're choosing to do? You don't have to treat them like that. You just treat them like any other person. No, you're going out of your way to call this person a fucking man and use sir and he, him pronouns when you know damn well that that's a woman you're sitting right next to.
A man can never become a woman, or that a woman can never become a man. It's just, I don't see gorillas out there doing it. I don't see dogs out there doing it. It's just not a part of nature.
All right, now this is where she is kind of wrong. Now, I don't know how animals identify when it comes to gender identity, but when it does come to, sex changes, animals actually do change their sex. I think frogs and other sorts of amphibians can change from male to female or female to male, and also with clownfish as well. I think if there's not enough females in a certain amount of in a certain population, sometimes the male will, change their sex to female in order to sustain the population. Also another thing, insects, for example. I know slugs and snails, they technically possess both male and female genitalia. So what? I mean, like, you're saying that you don't see this in nature. You actually do. You don't even really have to look that far. Like, everybody has slugs and snails in their garden. All you have to do is just pick up a fucking rock. You might find like 2 or 3 fucking slugs underneath the rock. Go down to the river. You might see tadpoles and fucking frogs and toads in the fucking river. Like, I mean, where the fuck is this woman getting her information from? Or I should say, what rock is this bitch living up under? And is Patrick Star living up under the rock with her? Okay, so I was wrong about what I said before. Snails technically aren't insects, and neither are slugs. Both are called mollusks. But they are, some of them are hermaphrodite. I think all slugs are hermaphroditic. And there are some male and female snails, but there are certain species of snails that are also hermaphroditic, just like slugs. So, just to clear some information up for you guys.
Well, JB says her relationship with her mom has been destroyed forever because of Angela's conservative beliefs. And while JB...
Shut the fuck up and stop interrupting Dr. Phil, you fucking loon.
knows that she was no saint growing up. She says her mom was demonic. Now, JB's youngest sister, Imani, says that she's bearing the brunt of Angela's explosive anger. Listen to what she has to say.
So now they're going to bring in Angela's daughter. Now, Angela's other daughter, the younger daughter is, I think, cisgender. And she actually brings in some really good insight of this. I mean, you could tell that the kids were raised right. But either way, I'm just going to let the little sister speak for herself.
So my mother saw JB twerking and she texted the entire family and basically told us not to support his behavior on the internet. My mother has called my brother derogatory terms in terms of his sexuality as a way to almost condemn his behavior. So my mom is a conservative and she is on the Trump train. We got in a disagreement about abortion, and she smacked me because she thought that I was being disrespectful in our conversation about it.
Whoa! So hold on. So your daughter says that, like, she disagrees with your views on abortion, and then you smack your daughter in the fucking face. Well, good. Well, all I got to say is Angela, she might have to smack her own self in the fucking face, or, you know, better yet, you know, go play around in fucking traffic or something, or sit on a fucking rocket. Like, because you, like I said, this is the woman that literally went out of her way to tell her daughter, who's transgender, that she wishes she aborted her. Like, what the fuck?
She does have an issue with small children being exposed to the gay lifestyle. My mom is worried that I'm influenced by my brother's way of thinking, and she's worried that it would rub off on me and that I'll adopt the same mindset. My mom has been an emotional bully to us in the past. She'll tell me that she's the only person that loves me, or she's the only person that ever cared for me. My mom will argue with anybody in the family, regardless if they're a bad child or a good child. She will argue with anyone.
I believe that. I mean, just looking at the way she's behaving on Dr. Phil, and like I said, Dr. Phil is truly trying to help this woman, and she's refusing to even get help. She's refusing to even admit where she's going wrong.
So I just want to bring it back to the central focus of that this is a parent-child relationship. So regardless of how my brother identifies, he is still a human being, and there's no reason, there's no circumstance that I can ever think of on this entire earth for someone to use the passing of someone's parent as a way to condemn their lifestyle. Regardless if there was an argument, whatever names have been called, whatever has happened in the past, that is a line that you simply cannot cross.
All right, now, like I said, this is another example of, you know, I think the sister using the wrong pronoun, but I think that's only to, you know, try and convince the mother to, you know, at least somewhat accept, you know, their daughter. But, you know, like I said, some people might agree or disagree, but it seems like, based on the way that the little sister is talking, she clearly has no problem with, you know, JB's, you know, identifying as transgender. So, I mean, apparently JB, from what I understand, you know, JB's never really said anything bad about Imani. And like I said, they probably are close with each other. I mean, after all, they did grow up together, and they did grow up with the same crazy, insane mother. So, like I said, they can probably relate to each other. They probably have a closer connection to each other than they do with their own fucking mother.
I think that it's disrespectful to imply that as a black woman, I can't decide who I want to support.
And I think it's really disrespectful to you to, you know, treat your daughter like fucking shit.
When it comes to politics. And I think that this whole issue about being black and supporting Trump.
I mean, look at the way that the little sister's acting. She's like, what does that have to do with anything? See, she's just going right off the topic. Like, it says no, it makes no fucking sense what she's saying.
You know, I have my reasons why I chose to,
excuse me.
Even Dr. Phil says, what does this have to do with anything?
Because y'all keep pushing this issue. Javian mentioned it about me being a Trump supporter. She mentioned it about me being a Trump supporter. And here's the thing. If Javian is saying that he wants me to accept the fact that he's LGBTQA in his community, then that kind of goes both ways. You have to accept the fact that I supported a pro-life president.
Yes, you supported a pro-life president, but you want to abort your fucking daughter.
You have to accept the fact
when have you
that
ever seen
I
me bash
chose to
Vivian,
be
please let her finish.
Online. They got the video. I sent it in. When you were online talking about me, you said I'm a dumb Trump supporting bitch. That's what you said.
Well, maybe because you are a dumb Trump supporting bitch. You ever thought about that? Like, you look at the way you. I can't even say it enough, and I probably have already said it one too many times as it is. And by the way, I don't even think I want to have another fucking beer, because I already drank this whole fucking bottle. Like, there's nothing else fucking left.
To be condemned for supporting the candidate of your choice, I don't believe in killing babies.
Imagine being condemned for loving the person of your choice.
Transitioning children. It's not about loving the person of your choice. It's about your behavior.
Contradictions. I don't believe in killing babies, but I wish that my transgender daughter was aborted. Please, somebody, make it make sense.
And it's about the fact that you want to force me to believe that the son that I gave birth to is a woman. I don't feel like I have to partake in that delusion.
That's not what this is
Excuse me,
about.
I'm not done.
That's
What
not
I
You
what
have
want
this
to
is
be done
about.
at some point.
Thank you, Dr. Phil. You have to be done at some point, and please, let someone else who is able to articulate and say something intelligent have the microphone and platform and let them speak.
You have to let someone else speak.
Regardless of
Why
if
are you talking
believe,
about it?
Regardless of if you believe Javian is a woman or not, it's about
What do you
the
believe?
respect
I don't have
that you
so
can have.
You want me to lie
for
to myself?
Javian. You don't know. It's not about that. It's about how you use his sexuality to condemn him. That's not okay.
Ashley Marie
I've been on
Preston
every
is a
platform,
cultural
Jay. I put you on
commentator,
TV.
trans
That's so
activist, and
irrelevant.
first
No,
trans
because of
woman
me.
to become.
Here we go again. So, Dr. Phil is now trying to introduce the next guest on the show, and you can hear Angela Stanton King in the background, yelling and screaming at the top of her lungs like a wild fucking animal.
Editor-in-chief of a national publication and first openly trans person to run for state office in California. Now, she says Angela's fear of seeing JBs with a handbag is going to put JBs in a body bag. And the reason that she's saying this, in my opinion, is really just looking at the statistics of the pressure and the depression and the high suicide rate among those that live in this community. And she's joining us now. Thank you so much for being here again. It's been a while since
Right now, I'm glad that Dr. Phil decided to bring that up. Because, you know, people like Angela Stanton King are the reason why so many trans people are going through such issues like this. The depression and the self-harm and, you know, all the other bad situations that trans people have to deal with. And the reason why they are dealing with that is because of ignorant people like Miss Angela Stanton King. The blood is on her hands.
Yeah. Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to all of this. Help us out here, Ashley Marie.
I think it's heartbreaking all the way across the board. Because Angela may not know this, but I know that she started following me in 2018.
Isn't that interesting? So Angela Stanton King is following a trans activist on Twitter. I wonder what the reason of that is.
So part of me knows that despite what she's saying about how she's not going to be convinced otherwise, she is invested in understanding not just her daughter, but the,
What daughter?
the
Imani?
transgender community.
What
you
daughter?
may be able to dominate the dialogue, but you will
But
not
what
control
daughter?
the outcome
But what
of the
daughter?
message that we
What
spread
daughter?
today.
Angela, do shut your fucking mouth.
You cannot yell people down and win
It's not
a
yelling
particular
people
point.
down,
You
but
have
it's the
to
fact that you
allow
brought
other
somebody on
people.
this show that's going to try to tell me my son is
They're
a
not
woman.
even-
My
they're
son
not
is not a woman. And I'm going to
Nobody
stand on
knows.
that. You can get all the transgenders in the world. He's not a woman.
If you're secure in your belief, let someone else speak. You're being very disrespectful.
But you want me to listen to
I'm not
somebody
asking
that's
you to
telling
do
me my
anything
son is a
except allow
woman.
someone
That's
else to speak.
disrespectful.
Now, with Angela Stanton King, what she's going through is called cognitive dissonance.
Please hear me, because believe it or not, contrary to what you may think or believe, I'm rooting for both of you. I am invested in the relationship that you have with your daughter because according to
Well, you can't
a survey,
be. You can't be
according
because
to-
hold on. You can't be interested in me and him having a relationship because first you're disrespecting me as a parent.
I am not
Don't-
disrespecting
I
you.
feel as though
I am
you
not
are.
disrespecting you.
Because
I gave
let
you
me-
credit
hold
for
on.
your
No,
for what you're doing.
No.
No, you're not
When you
going
tell
to.
me
You tried
that
to
this
bully
is my
and
daughter,
bulldoze through
when
every.
you tell me that this is my daughter.
All right, so for those that haven't joined me in getting yourself a can or a bottle of alcohol. All I can really say is that if you were to take a drink for every time Angela Stanton King has interrupted a guest on the Dr. Phil show or Dr. Phil himself, I guarantee you would die from alcohol poisoning. Your liver, your kidneys, and all of your internal organs would have failed by now.
You're bulldozing.
That's
I'm not
disrespectful.
telling you anything.
That's
I'm
disrespectful.
acknowledging who she is.
You're not-
I'm
but
not.
she's
Me
not a
calling
woman.
her
Girl,
is
shit
about
is
honoring
crazy.
and respecting her personhood.
You're irrelevant. I
According
came here to see
to-
Dr. Phil. That doesn't matter to me.
Parenting. Can we please
So,
steer the
according to,
conversation?
I wanted to
Go
get this
ahead.
one out.
I
Okay.
asked you to come here,
Okay.
and I'm going to give you the respect that you
Okay.
deserve. I asked you to come here, and I'm not going to let you get shouted down. Say what you would like to say.
So according to a study that was done by the National Center for Transgender Equality and the National LGBTQ Task Force, so when there is a parent or parents or loved ones in the home who do not support the identity of the transgender individual, 51% have attempted suicide, 48% have become homeless, 47% have become addicted to drugs and substances, and 29% have actually had to engage in sex work.
Okay, did you just see that? She's listing facts as to what happens when you don't support your transgender, family members. Drug abuse, suicide, self-harm. And Angela Stanton King is so cold and so heartless that she rolls the eyes all the way to the back of her head as if it's no big deal. And this is what I say about a lot of conservative Christians. They won't stop until every trans person on the face of the planet is eradicated, is no longer existing. Do you think that they care or that they shed a tear every time a trans person commits self-harm or, ends up in the graveyard or a body bag or is murdered? No, they don't. Because that is what they want. That is the type of behavior that conservative Christians encourage. It's almost as bad as, racists and neo-Nazis and any other, hateful person out there. It's not enough for them to just hate you. They want to destroy you. They want to make sure that you exist. They want to exterminate you off the face of the planet. That is their ideology. And that is what I am against. And people wonder why I am a Satanist. People like Angela Stanton King and all these other crazy conservative Christians keep reminding me every day of my fucking life as to why I am no longer a Christian.
You're not going to guilt me into accepting him as a woman because you feel like if he makes a bad decision that it's going to be my fault. No. If he were to listen to me, I wouldn't have to worry about those things, because let's talk about some of those numbers that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Even when Joe Biden, during his presidential debate, was talking about legalizing young children transitioning, he said his reason was because so many transgender women of color had been murdered. And he said, I think the number now is up to 17. Now, as a leader in the black community, there are thousands of black men that have been murdered. But you won't hear Joe Biden talk about that because those black men did not have a wig on. So I'm not going to elevate. Excuse me. I'm not done.
Politics.
I'm not going to elevate. I'm not going to elevate the issue of transgenderism over black men, because at the end of the day, y'all still black men.
Here we go again. Angela Stanton King. Trying to derail the conversation with irrelevant talking points, which is something that a lot of conservative Christians like to do. They don't want to talk about one problem, so they bring up another problem as a way to deflect from that issue. Excuse me, folks. Like I said, this one beer was quite enough for me. Let's go on.
Gender identity is who I go to bed as, and sexual orientation is who I go to bed with. So the fact that you're making assumptions about children's genitals or your child's genitals, that is way out of bounds. At this moment, you have a decision to
Look at the little sister's face. She's like, yeah, this woman is spitting up straight facts. And I'm sitting next to the craziest bitch in the fucking country.
make as to whether you're willing to do the internal work to silence that inner critic that's making you force your children to carry your shame.
Okay, no,
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
You don't know how happy Dr. Phil was to let the cameras cut and go on break. But I honestly wanted to hear what the little sister had to say, because she sounded like she was about to make a good point before they cut off into the break.
From my understanding, Javian likes to dress up. He likes the way that he transformed. I mean, I've seen pictures of Javian, and he is absolutely stunning. I've been taken aback by some of the photos that I've seen because he was so beautiful. He always looked like his mom, kind of like my twin. I don't know what I'm seeing, man. That's why I'm here today. Maybe you guys can help me figure it out.
It's not something. All right, so the mother is finally, speaking something that I agree with. She's saying that her daughter is absolutely beautiful, which is true. So finally the mother is starting to, make sense. But this is probably short-lived, and I doubt she'll make any more sense in the rest of this video.
Okay, Angela says that JB's has warped Imani's mind into thinking dressing like a female is okay.
Even you hear the little sister Imani in the background saying, just let Dr. Phil speak, please. Forget about weapons of mass destruction. This woman has weapons of mass interruption.
You're concerned about the influence,
Yes.
right? And does she need to be concerned about influence here? You seem to be very self-possessed.
Smart as one.
Right. I am very outspoken and very opinionated in my own right about things like gender identity and how she should parent, because bullying your children emotionally and calling them all types of names is not preparing your child for life. That's only going to damage them. And I don't understand why, as a parent, you cannot realize that fact.
Imani, all I have to say is Imani would make a very, very great mother one day. Like I said, she's clearly smart. She clearly knows what the fuck she's talking about, and she clearly has a good head on her shoulders. Now, like I said, I don't think she got any of this from her mother, and if she did get anything from her older sister, JB's, well, I would pretty much say that JB's is more of a better influence on her younger sister than the mother is as a parent.
So I would say that you have done very extremely well. I've raised you on my own. Children are different, okay?
I don't think she wants to take credit for that. You shouldn't take credit for that, because she's nothing like you. She's not interrupting, she's not rude, she's being very nice, very kind, willing to understand, and is very, very respectful. Everything that you are not, Miss Angela Stanton King.
You and Javian were not the same children, okay? Y'all didn't have the same struggles, y'all didn't have the same issue. So your upbringing is gonna be different.
I do want to acknowledge that you've done a lot of things right. And I say that because sitting next to you is a very fine example. It's doing very well, as you say. I think I would say the same thing sitting across from you here. There are a lot of really fine qualities here that you have to respect. There's a strength of character here, a conviction, and a lot of this strength has to come from the role model that you provided of conviction and standing up for yourself. You've done a lot of things right along the way, and I hope you're proud of that. And I hope you're proud of a lot of the strength and conviction that you see.
All right, so I'm going to have to disagree with Dr. Phil. I don't believe that this woman truly loves her kids. Based on her, social media photos, it seems like she's just, using her kids as props, just parading them around because they look cute. I think the reason why these kids are such great kids happens to more be a matter of chance. They just happen to get lucky and know right from wrong and learn from the mistakes of their ignorant, selfish, disgusting mother.
Sitting next to you and across from you. I hope that, as Ashley Marie is saying, that you would want to be a source of strength for both of your children, whether that you agreed with everything either of them chose in their lives or whether you didn't.
This show isn't about, I don't love you. I love you.
I don't think
you don't have to, but I'm telling you. So you will hear it from me, and so the whole world will hear it. I love my son, Javian. And what I want you to understand is that this is what you don't get. I think that
I'm the one that don't get it.
I think that these feelings are going both ways. No. I think that you feel like you don't have a mom, and I feel like I don't have a son. When you are telling me that this is you now, you don't understand. I want my son.
Here we go with the waterworks. Crocodile tears. Wonderful. I have to give Angela Stanton King, great performance. Those crocodile tears, they're almost believable. If you weren't such a bigoted fuck. And notice, you don't see any wetness in her eye. She's not really that concerned. She doesn't give a rat's ass about her fucking daughter.
You're taking somebody away from me. You don't want to be my son, but you want me to be your mother.
I don't want you to be my mother at this point.
But I still want you to be my son.
Good. That was a great response from JB's. She does not want Angela Stanton King as her mother. Once again, this goes to show you what a lot of members of the LGBTQ community have to deal with. They don't want a homophobic person as their parent. So you know what they do? They form and find their own family. They find someone that's willing to accept them as they are. So this is only a natural human reaction that JB's is feeling. And to be honest, sometimes that might be great for your mental health. You have to cut the toxic people out of your life, whether it be family members or anybody else.
Wow.
So to make the necessary changes to make it that way.
So
it's that simple.
What changes are going to be made?
Maybe stop trying to bulldoze us and dismiss our emotions like you have done on this stage.
It's not about trying to bulldoze you or dismiss your emotions. It's the fact that I'm not going to let anybody tell me that my son is a woman.
It's outside
you
of
bulldoze,
that.
You even with me.
I've never asked her to call me a
like
woman, and that's one of her main argument points. She can't name one
time.
time
You just told me to call you JB's. Who is JB's?
JB's. That's my name. That's what I go by.
Did you change it legally?
I'm about to.
Okay.
You wanted to say something?
Yes. So what I wanted to say was, Angela can sit across from me right now and try to make up whatever excuse in the world she could want to for me and her relationship. Let's give it to her for argument's sake. I was a horrible child. Angela has 4 other children who she has all gotten into it with.
They're not here.
Who she has all.
They're not here.
They wrote statements.
Let this child, let them speak for themselves. You can't speak for them.
Okay.
So here she goes using the weapons of mass interruption again, because she knows that she's about to start spitting facts. And she knows that she doesn't want to be embarrassed on the Dr. Phil show. Because let me tell you something, I guarantee you, if Angela was not here and you gave her and each and every one of her kids a microphone and the opportunity to speak on life living with Angela Stanton King, they would have a hell of a lot of horror stories to say. Just imagine the abuse that this woman is putting these children through.
So there's an old saying, where there's smoke, there's a fire. If Jay was the problem, Jay wants to be respected as a woman. Jay is an issue. Jay is disrespectful. Take Jay out of it. Jay was the problem.
Right.
Angela has had some type of emotional trauma or issues
First
with
of all,
of her
let
children.
me say something. As
I'm
a
not the
parent
only
that
one.
has raised children on her own for
So
20
if you
years,
wanna
there
say
are
I'm the
going to
problem,
be some
what's the problem
instances
with him?
when you and your children don't
Everybody's
get
the problem
along.
but you.
Why are you trying to make
Dominic.
it seem like this has been every single day of our lives? You all are taking instances
No, but it
when,
has been
excuse
repetitive.
me, I'm raising children. There are issues. When you raise 3 teenage boys by yourself, there are issues. So we have had to address issues
What's
as a
Imani issue?
family. If anybody in here is a parent,
She
tell me
threatened-
There she goes again, yelling and screaming and getting louder. You know, JB's really hit a nerve on this one. I was, I always said,
my
have not had
education.
issues.
Literally, as a punishment,
Yeah.
she threatens my education.
No, I told you I was gonna withdraw you out of
She
school.
threatened to withdraw me from school as punishment.
I did.
She threatened
Not
to
as
withdraw
punishment.
me
Not as
from my
punishment.
debate
Excuse me.
council as punishment.
Not as punishment.
She has taken my technology and made me take late penalties because she didn't want to give me my computer to do my homework.
I thank you for your comments.
That's what you're
I thank
talking
you for
about.
your comments.
So let me get this straight. So as punishment, because your daughter may or may not have done something that was against house rules, your punishment is to make them late from school, make them get bad remarks on their report card, take away their computer so that they can't do their homework or write essays or do projects. And you call yourself a mother. A great mother, mind you. And Dr. Phil, you can tell Dr. Phil has had quite enough. He has had quite enough with this one crazy woman, Angela Stanton King. This woman is the mother from the Black Lagoon. This woman is the mother from hell. Satan himself would cower in fear from Angela Stanton King. I don't even think there's anyone as evil as a mother as this crazy lady. And the sad thing is, I was reading the comments on this video, and all of the conservative Christian parents agree with Angela Stanton King, despite the fact that she's doing this to all of her children, not just the one transgender child, all of them. Putting her hands on her fucking daughter for disagreeing about abortion. And I guarantee you, if you take the transgender aspect out of it, let's just say this had nothing to do with JBs. I don't know if conservative Christians would support this type of lifestyle. They probably wouldn't. But the reason why they're okay with it, and the reason why they're justifying this woman being an abusive mother, is simply because she's transphobic. That's all that matters to them. It's like the same thing with Josh Duggar. They don't care. It's not even just Josh Duggar, I should say. It's with the entire Duggar family. Who cares about the fact that Jim Bob hid the fact that Josh was inappropriately touching his little sisters and other people? Who gives a rat's ass if Josh Duggar, cheated on his wife and is downloading illegal images of children online? They don't care about that They won't say a damn thing about that. They will do whatever they can to protect these people, despite how horribly disgusting they are, simply because they love the fact that they hate transgender people. That's how strong their hatred is. They hate trans people so much that they're willing to accept anyone into their group simply because they hate trans people, despite all the horrible things that they do in their own personal lives. This is the type of hatred that the LGBTQ community is dealing with. This is beyond hatred. I don't think hatred is a strong enough word to describe how these people feel. Despise, I don't even think that is strong enough of a word. If I can open up a thesaurus and find a word strong enough, I probably would, but I don't think one exists in the English language. These people are disgusting. These people make me fucking sick. And I barely ever talk this way. I barely ever. And at this point, I'm running out of words to say because I pretty much have said it already, and I probably have repeated myself about 1,000,000 times in this one video. I'm done at this point. I've had enough. Let's see how this ends.
Would you like to make a final comment?
I've talked to so many mothers of deceased Black trans women who ask themselves and sit around wondering what they could have did different to bring their baby back. And the miracle in this moment is that you don't have to wonder. If you have an open heart and an open mind, you have the capacity to build something much stronger than it was before. And so I really just asked Angela to really just look within herself, recommit to that bond that she has as a mother the first day they brought her child home and placed her in her arms, and think about what she wants the future outcome to be.
Who is her?
Yeah. I couldn't,
For one thing,
I couldn't say that. I couldn't say that any better. You always stay calm with a clear message. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to be supportive of this platform.
Thank you.
I want to thank all of my guests today, and a very special thanks to you, to trans activist Ashley Marie Preston. For information about today's show, log on to drphil.com. Thanks for being here.
So they're showing the credits right now, and you can still hear Angela in the back yelling and screaming like a fucking banshee. Shut the fuck up, Angela. You are a terrible human being. You are a piece of shit. You are what I leave in the toilet after getting high off of an edible and ordering $80 worth of food and leaving it all in the toilet a few hours later. That is Angela Stanton King. And right now, it's time for me to flush this. I am done with this video. Thank you, Honeybee Sinclair, for sending this video to me, because somehow you knew I would have a lot to say about this. Okay, I'm done. I'm out of alcohol. It's early in the morning. It is my day off, and I should be getting some sleep. That's it, demons and demonesses. You guys have a great day, or the rest of your evening, or whenever this video uploads. Stay safe, stay metal, hail Satan, and have a great fucking day.